What you company? What you company?
Appreciate it.
Just for, I'm just a one-man show.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Hendrix there for a minute ago.
Hell, he used to work for him, son.
Yeah, the house I just bought, the house I just bought, I'm working on, I opened the panel box yesterday, it said Hendrix, 82 or something.
What's eight these days? I
I
don't know.
probably couldn't work on, I worked for them about 18 years.
This one's on Hill Street,
Where
Yes,
at?
sir.
321 Hill Street.
You ready? All
A
right.
long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, we'll now call the Madison County Board of Adjustments Thursday, September 22nd, meeting to order. You call the roll, please.
Keith Weaver,
Here.
Valerie Hines,
Here.
Mike Mavety,
Here.
Keith Park,
Here.
Ralph Hall.
Here. First thing on the agenda is we have approval of minutes for last month. Has everybody looked over the minutes? Has anybody seen anything wrong with the minutes? If not, I'll open the floor up for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mike Mavety,
Yes.
Keith Park,
Yes.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
Keith Weaver,
Yes.
Ralph Hall.
Yes. Next on the agenda is old business.
I want to make a motion to take the,
The minutes for the last meeting.
That's what we just
On the
did.
agenda.
That's what we just did.
Oh, my bad. I guess I better start paying attention.
All right. All right. Next on the agenda is old business.
Do you want to introduce our new member before we get into that?
We sure can, sir.
Yeah, let's do that. Keith, would you take a minute, just kind of introduce yourself to everybody, tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to us?
Well, my name's Keith Weaver, born and raised here in Madison County. I always look for a way to kind of help my community out, and I've always aggravated Reagan and said, I'm gonna run for something, are you gonna back me? And just kind of as a joke, and, you know, he presented this to me and said, hey, you know, with the construction background, been in construction about 20, 25 years, real estate, buying, selling properties, things of that nature, so, eat, sleep, and breathe houses, so I figured this was somewhere I could kind of help a little bit, and I've always been the type of person, if I can't help, then I don't want to do anything, so just glad to be, you know, helping my community here.
We're glad to have you.
We appreciate it.
Glad to be here, thank you.
Now,
All right.
shut up and let y'all talk.
Let's try this again. Number 3 on the agenda is old business.
I want to make a motion to take the Pine Grove Solar LLC off the table.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mike Mavety,
Yes.
Keith Park,
Yes.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
Keith Weaver,
Yes.
and Ralph Hall.
Yes. All right. Now that we have old business off the table and it is on the agenda now, I will open.
You don't have copies of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody has received. At this time, I'll open the floor up for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for the property identified by the parcel IDs listed on the application. This conditional use permit will allow the operation of a solar farm. And if you'll bear with me, I have a lot of conditions to read out. AES Clean Energy, a subsidiary of the AES Corporation, Pine Grove Solar LLC, all shall adhere to the following requirements and conditions. 1, construction operating times are as follows. A, workday will begin at 6 a.m. and end 6 p.m. and site will be cleared by 7 p.m. B, workdays will be 7 days a week until completion of project. C, pile driving will only run from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. 2, setbacks. Setbacks shall be 100 feet from the center of any road. Setbacks shall be 100 feet between the solar facility, includes fencing, panels, structures, or other related equipment, and any adjacent non-participating property. Setbacks shall be 200 feet between the solar facility, includes fencing, panels, structures, or other related equipment, and any adjacent property which contains a residence. 3, solar panel height. Height of the panels shall not exceed 15 feet at maximum tilt of the solar panels. 4, fencing. A fence shall be constructed to enclose and secure the solar farm facility. Fencing shall be at least 6 feet in height above ground level. If fencing is made of chain link material, it must be slatted or screened with a color to match the surrounding environment. If fencing is not a chain link material, fence must be made of an opaque material with color of natural wood or surrounding environment. This fence must meet all electric utility safety and security guidelines. 5, maintenance. Applicant shall provide to the Madison County Planning and Development Director a continuing maintenance plan for the entire project prior to construction and before production of solar energy commences on the solar farm. This plan will be updated annually on July 1st. This plan will include but not be limited to the following. A, any physical modifications to the solar farm and/or its infrastructure. B, complaints pertaining to setback, noise, appearance, safety, lighting, and any use of public roads received by the applicant, owner, and/or operator concerning the solar farm facility and the resolutions of such complaints. C, calls for emergency services, including the nature of the emergency and how it was resolved, and this includes any environmental incidents, whether considered emergency or not. D, status, proof of liability insurance. E, maintenance of access roads, solar panels, vegetation control, fence line maintenance, trash and debris cleanup, wildlife protection, creek and stream protection, and environmental protection. F, in addition, this plan must provide a local point of contact should an emergency or other issue arise. G, any other information that the company might reasonably request on the initial plans or annual updates. H, within 30 days of submission of initial and subsequent maintenance plans to the Planning and Development Director, the Planning and Development Office will review the maintenance plan and conduct an on-site field inspection of the solar farm facility. I, within 60 days of maintenance plan submission, Planning and Development Office will compile a written report of any findings and request the help of any Madison County department to assist them with recommendations. The solar farm facility will have a reasonable time set by the Planning and Development Director to remedy any maintenance issues not found to comply. J, there will be a $500 fee for the initial and each subsequent annual maintenance plans. This fee will be due upon submission of each report. Failure to provide the annual maintenance plans and payment of required fee shall be considered a cessation of operations. K, the applicant, owner, and/or operator of the solar farm facility shall provide the Madison County Planning and Development Office personnel and any other persons accompanied by and deemed necessary by the Madison County Planning and Development Office to be present, access to the solar farm facility upon a 24-hour notice. Failure to provide access shall be deemed a violation of this conditional use permit. 5, installation and design. Solar farm facility will be designed and located to prevent, limit glare toward any adjacent properties and all roadways, in addition to any requirements of the Federal Aviation Administration. 6, lighting. Lighting will be shielded and directed so that it does not spill onto adjacent properties and roadways. 7, noise. Noise levels during operation shall not exceed 50 decibels when measured at the property line of an adjacent non-participating properties. Noise levels will be enforced by local and state officials. Only exception of this is during the pile driving phase of construction. 8, landscaping. A landscaping screen will be on the outside of the required fencing around the entire perimeter of the solar farm. A, the screening shall consist of continuous line of native evergreen foliage and/or native shrubs and/or native trees and/or any existing wooded area and/or plantings of tall native grasses and other native flowering plants. Screening shall not be required if solar farm is not visible to a dwelling or roadway by virtue of existing topography as determined by the Madison County Planning and Development Director. B, landscaping under panels will be of native or other type grasses. No gravel or concrete ground covering unless needed for roadway or to be support pads for accessory equipment or allow proper drainage. Number 9, wiring. All wiring between solar panels and other facilities, i.e. substations, O&M buildings, inverters, shall be underground unless applicant can show a special hardship in a particular location. A waiver may be granted by the Madison County Planning and Development Director. 10, outdoor storage. Only Outdoor storage of materials, vehicles, and equipment that directly support the operation and maintenance of this solar farm facility will be allowed and shall be subject to the same fencing and screening requirements as the rest of the solar farm unless already within the confines of the required fencing in condition number 3. 11, buildings. Any buildings built in support of this solar farm must be construed of material that best blend in with the surrounding environment, i.e. color, building height, foundation type, etc. This condition will be at the discretion of the Planning and Development Director. 12, access points. Any new access point for this project from county roads must be approved by the Madison County Road Supervisor. These access points must be similar in design to the surrounding property. 13, roads. Prior to the start of construction, the applicant will provide the Madison County Road Department with a road survey. This survey will map and log all of the conditions of the county roads that will be used during the construction of this project. This will ensure that the applicant returns the roads post-construction to pre-construction condition or better. In addition, the applicant shall post a bond in an amount determined by the Madison County Road Supervisor sufficient to guarantee the above. Madison County Fiscal Court will be the beneficiary of such bond. 14, decommission. Prior to the start of construction, applicant will submit a decommissioning plan to the Madison County Planning and Development Office and make it available to anyone upon request. Applicant will commit to the following decommissioning requirements to be performed within 12 months from the date the lease expires or terminates, or proof that the solar farm facility is no longer producing solar energy. Hold on just a second. A description of the plan is to remove the solar farm facility equipment, solar panels, and any other improvements and restore the land to its previous use upon the end of the project's life. B, provisions for removal of solar facilities, structures, debris, and associated equipment to a depth not less than 4 feet of surface grade and the sequence in which removal is to be expected. C, provisions for removal of all infrastructure including concrete mountings and foundations. D, provisions to restore the land to as close to pre-construction condition as reasonably practical, including soil and vegetation restoration. E, an estimate of the decommissioning cost in future dollars at the time of filing certified by a disinterested third-party certified professional engineer. F, a written financial plan approved by the Planning and Development Director to ensure that funds will be available for decommissioning and land restoration. G, a provision that the terms of the decommissioning plan shall be binding upon the applicant, owner, and/or operator, and any of their successors, assigns, or heirs. H, upon review of the decommissioning plan, the Planning and Development Director Office shall set up an amount to be held in the form of a bond. I, this plan shall state that the project applicant, owner, operator shall provide the Madison County Fiscal Court with financial assurance to cover the estimated cost of decommissioning of the solar farm facility project, and that the Madison County Fiscal Court shall have access to the solar farm facility project and to the bond proceeds to effect or complete decommissioning within 1 year after cessation of operations. And J, the applicant, owner, operator shall provide Madison County Planning and Development Director Office with a new estimate of the cost of decommissioning of the solar farm facility project every 5 years under the same conditions as set forth in this section above. Salvage value of structures, electrical wire, and other appurtenances shall be considered with the cost estimate calculations. Upon receipt of this new estimate, the county may require, and the applicant, owner, and/or operator shall provide a new financial plan for decommissioning acceptable to the Planning and Development Director Office or their designated representative. A new bond amount may be determined and required to ensure decommissioning is adequately funded. Failure to provide these new cost estimates and updated financial plans every 5 years shall be considered a cessation of operations. 15, bonds, guarantees. AES Clean Energy, a subsidiary of the AES Corporation, Pine Grove Solar LLC, will provide a bond guarantee ensuring the decommissioning of the site under the proposed requirements stated above. The beneficiary of said bond guarantee shall be: A, if leased, there will be a dual beneficiary between the property owner and Madison County Fiscal Court. In the event the property owner fails to reclaim the property to pre-construction condition, Madison County Fiscal Court shall have the sole authority to execute the bond for purposes of reclaiming the property to pre-construction condition. B, if is owned by applicant, then Madison County Fiscal Court will be beneficiary of said bond guarantee and shall have the sole authority to execute the bond for purposes of reclaiming the property to pre-construction condition. 16, safety. Applicant shall provide a report to the Planning and Development Office identifying any special hazards associated with this project. Report will identify any special signage, high hazard areas, or specialized training that may be required for first responders related to this project. 17, compliance. In addition to the items listed above, the applicant must comply with any and all local, state, and federal guidelines that would be related to a project such as this. In the event the applicant fails to comply with any condition mentioned above, the permit to operate this facility will be suspended and the facility must cease production until such time as the deficiencies are corrected or the solar farm facility project must be decommissioned. 18, cessation of operations. If any solar arm facility project has not been in operation and production of solar energy electricity for at least 270 consecutive days, then it will be deemed to be in cessation of operations and decommissioning must commence. The Madison County Planning and Development Office Director shall notify applicant, owner, and/or operator of their decommissioning commitment. Within 30 days, the applicant, owner, and/or operator shall provide evidence of operation and production of solar energy electricity or begin decommissioning. If the applicant, owner, and/or operator fails to refuse to begin decommissioning, then the Madison County Fiscal Court has the right to bring legal action and claim bond proceeds to begin decommissioning. 19, indemnification and liability. The applicant, owner, and/or operator of the solar farm facility project shall defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the County of Madison and its officials from and against any and all claims, demands, losses, suits, causes of action, damages, injuries, costs, expenses, and liabilities whatsoever, including attorney's fees, without limitation, arising out of acts or omissions of the applicant, owner, and/or operator associated with the construction and/or operation of this solar farm facility project. B, the applicant, owner, and/or operator of the solar farm facility project shall maintain a current general liability policy covering bodily injury and property damage with limits set by the Planning and Development Office Director and/or their designated representative sufficient to cover a project of this size. Evidence of liability coverage must be reported and presented to the Madison County Planning and Development Office Director prior to any construction and on an annual basis every July 1st. Any loss of coverage must be reported to the Madison County Planning and Development Office Director within 3 working days of loss. Failure to maintain coverage shall be considered a cessation of operations. 20, penalties. A failure to obtain applicable building permits for construction of this solar farm facility project or failure to comply with the requirements of a building permit or the provisions of this conditional use permit shall be deemed a violation of this conditional use permit. The Madison County Attorney and/or the Kentucky Commonwealth Attorney may bring action to enforce compliance. B, applicant, owner, and/or operator could be imposed with fines of not less than $25 or no more than $500 for violations of any of the terms of this conditional use permit. C, nothing herein shall prevent the Madison County Fiscal Court from seeking such other legal remedies available to prevent or remedy any violations of this conditional use permit.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mike Madden,
Yes.
Keith Park,
Yes.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
Keith Weaver,
Yes.
Ralph Allen.
Yes. Alrighty, that takes care of old business. We'll drive on. Now we have a dimensional variance for 1271 Poozy Ridge Road. We have a Gilead Baptist Church. We have a representative.
Yes.
Come on up, Mr. Rutherford, and
Just
tell us.
Before we move on, if anybody was just here for the solar and doesn't want to stick around for the rest of the meeting, you're welcome to, but if you want to ease out, now'd be the time to do it. Sorry to interrupt you again, right on the roll, Mike.
That's all right, you're on a roll. Just tell us your name and residence, please, sir.
Daniel Rutherford, Poozy Ridge, Richmond, Kentucky.
Okay, and do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes,
Tell us what you'd like to do today, sir.
well, we're wanting to build a new church building.
Uh-huh.
We bought the property beside the church, tore the old house down, the foundation's still there, so the new building will not be any closer than the old one was. And it's actually back further than our church is now, but we need a variance to construct that new building up closer to the road, because if we don't, we're gonna be so far back, we won't have any area on the backside of the church for the playground and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, and what it is because that's a state road, it's required 125 feet. So
Yes.
therefore, according to your application, it looks like you're wanting to move the building to 70 feet from the center.
Right.
So you're wanting to go 125 to 70 feet, and you're asking for a variance of 55 feet.
Yep.
All righty. Bert, has anybody called us on this? As we know, everything on Poozy Ridge has to have a variance.
Yeah, you can see the old house there, it actually sits back further than the church that we have now. So the new church will be,
New church going right here.
yeah, it will actually be about where the old house is.
Okay.
So it's actually, when it's all said and done, it'll still be back from the road further than the one we have now.
You're still gonna have room to put the septic in the front.
Right, yes, I done met with those people and they said there's no problem putting the septic there in the front between there and the road.
The church that's there now will stay though, right? You use it for something else?
We
like
will
community
probably,
building or
our long-term term is to eventually tear it down.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's an old building, it's over 100 years old, and it's just not feasible to repair it. It just costs more than what it's worth. But most likely it'll eventually be tore down.
Is there anybody else here to speak on the dimensional variance of 1271 Poozy Ridge? Anybody else from the board have a question?
Just to clarify, so you're asking, for the setback to be 70 feet instead of the?
Yes, and that will about put it pretty close to right where the front of the old house is there.
I heard you say that part, but I was just clarifying that. it was
Yeah.
70 in the application.
Probably the church we have now probably is 30.
55-foot variance, if my math's right.
Okay.
All right, if there's no other questions for, at this time, I'll open the floor up for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a 55-foot variance on the front, reducing the setback, reducing the setback, to 70 feet. At the address of 1275 Poozy Ridge Road, or does that need to be 1271?
1271.
It's 1275 is the.
That's the current church.
I think it is the old house, I think that's what it was. It's really been,
What's that say right
yeah,
there?
it says
says
1275.
Requesting the hearing is 1271,
The
so it would be
application says 1271.
address at 1271 Poozy Ridge Road.
Yeah, it's,
But the variance is needed at 1275.
yeah, that was a big question when we filled out the paperwork,
So is there like,
because we got so many daggone addresses
Addresses
there, we
there.
don't know.
Yeah,
Is the
no, we might,
application-
can we do that? Can we just,
We might,
Have that
you could
included?
just say the property owned by Gilead Baptist Church at 1271 and 1275
Okay.
Poozy Ridge, and that way, if you wanna keep your same address and just move it over to the new building, I can do that, and that way,
Yeah, we'll probably keep the 1271 address, because that's where our mail comes, actually.
yeah, so if you just wanna say, if you just wanna word it like
Okay.
for their property owned there.
you want him to read
All right.
it?
No, it's okay.
So we need that address to include 1271 and 1275 Poozy Ridge Road.
Right.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Keith Weaver,
Yes.
Valerie Hines.
Yes.
Keith Hart,
Yes.
Mike Mavety,
Yes.
Ralph Hall.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Call one day next week.
Yeah, it will be next week sometime.
One call, you will get paperwork ready.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Next on the agenda, we have a conditional use permit for 919 Charlie Norris Road.
Let me give you all a little background on this, and you may know, but some of you may not. There is an existing, event venue, wedding barn at this address, 919 Charlie North Road. Been in operation since 17, is that right, Gerald? Do you know?
Yes, that's right.
Is that right? Since 2017, amended, their, permit in 2019. I think if my numbers are right. So the current owners are, desiring to sell the property to a new owner. As you all know, Keith, conditional use permits are issued to people or individuals as opposed to the variance which is made for the property. So when the person that's the permit holder ceases that operation, the new owner has to have a permit issued in their name. So I'll let Mr. Sawyer explain whether he's gonna request the same conditions that are already existing, or if he's gonna ask for anything different, but that's kind of the background on this property, and I pulled it up on the map for y'all.
Go ahead and tell us your name, residence.
I'm Gerald Sawyer. I live here in Madison County. I live off Goggins in Brookline subdivision.
Okay. So,
Uh,
do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us what you'd like to do today.
I would like to accept it in its current position, condition. I don't ask for anything more or less than what the Thompsons already have. And we're just trying to change the current conditional use permit to my name after I take possession of the property.
Are you the manager of one of the members of I Do at the Barn LLC?
That's correct, yes, sir. I'm created it. Me and my wife did.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else here to speak? No? Alrighty. Does anybody from the board have any questions? If there's no questions, at this time, I'll open the floor up for a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit, property located at 919 Charlie Norris Road, I Do at the Barn LLC. This conditional use permit will comply with the presently approved conditions for the same property.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Keith Park,
Yes.
Mike Mabry. Yes. Valerie Hines.
Yes.
Keith Weaver.
Yes.
Ralph Hall.
Yes. Thanks, sir.
Get with me one day next week, we'll get this paperwork together for you. Okay? Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda. We have a conditional use for 605 Flint Road. Have an Eric M. Thomas. Come on and tell us your name and address, please, sir.
My name's Eric Thomas. I live at 605 Flint Road in Waco.
Okay, and do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Thomas, tell us what you'd like to do today.
I'm trying to, so I bought the farm on 605 Flint Road 3 years ago. It was really overgrown. I've gone through and manicured it, turned a carport into some additional living space, and I'm ready to move on. So I'm willing to put it up for Airbnb and just trying to get a conditional use for that.
So you currently live at the property?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I own the farm next to it as well.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna be moving into that farm.
I got you.
This is the right property here with the pond on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, and how many acres is that?
It is 23.
And you own this property as well, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And how many acres is it?
14.
Okay. What about to the south of you there, is that you?
Nope.
Okay.
So do you own that 615?
615 is not mine. That is Nick Vance and Stephanie Vance.
Okay. So you have 631 and 605?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Which one is the property you live on, and which one is, where's the Airbnb gonna be
The
at?
Airbnb will be at 605 with the pond.
Okay, got you. And that's where you did the addition at?
Correct.
Was all that work permitted, or did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, it was just it was an exterior. There wasn't an exterior wall, so it didn't require a permit.
Okay, got you.
So on here,
Maybe is what I was trying to say.
you're stating
Yeah, I
that there,
understand. You
there'll
just
be
done the interior.
Yeah.
maximum of 6 guests?
Correct.
Okay. And,
Eric, might just be just a good idea if you give the board an overview of what your plans are, other than just have it for an Airbnb.
yeah, and what,
How
right,
big is the property? What's the parking situation? What's your maximum number of guests? How many nights a year do you expect or hope to rent it out? Just give them a little information about the property.
Okay. Yeah. So
real quick, right, when you, Bert, it says there's an attached, plat that's in color. We don't have that. Can you bring that up? It says, please refer to PDF labeled 605 plat for color reference.
yeah, I have it with me as well. If you
Okay.
need it.
Do you have hard copies of it?
I don't.
Okay. Let's see if
You
he.
want to see the plat?
Well, what he's provided, I guess, is a color reference on everything you're asking for, so to sort of show us if you look at that last place of the conditional use plan, it says that, please refer to the PDF labeled 605 plat for color reference.
This page right here at the top.
Do you have that? If you have a copy, do you have enough copies for everybody?
I have it here, but I don't have a hard
Okay,
copy. I can email it to somebody.
Email it to me, I can put it up on the screen real quick.
That way, while he's describing that, it's the way this, I mean, it's in very detail, and that's the reason I would like
Oh,
for
I
us to see
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
yes.
We've seen that you went through a lot of effort
Yeah.
to put that
Yeah.
together. We'd like to see it.
Yeah, we don't get that often, so we take advantage of it when we get it.
I understand.
Is there a plat on file for PVA?
Yes. I
might
believe
be
so.
one way
I've
to
got
do it.
Well,
one,
he's
so.
talking more of a.
He's talking about a diagram of
drawing
like
and a
how.
diagram and a plan.
Oh, okay.
See, this has a description, we just can't see the picture.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm a visual person, so.
yeah, that's,
Most of us are.
Yeah, that's not the colored one though, but that is the
No,
correct.
that's just what's on file.
Right, yeah, that's the correct.
Your
one.
legal boundaries and everything.
while he's working on that, Bert, did anybody call on this one or send you any information on it? So we didn't hear from anybody, okay.
We've had sign on for a week, and send out letters, and, we did put an advertisement in the paper.
Okay.
What's a good email?
Send it to Bert, B-E-R-T. Thomas, T-H-O-M-A-S. At Madison County. KY.US. While we're waiting for that to send, do you wanna just talk a little bit about this is, I think, more about your layout and everything, but about your business plan, and what you think you need to do to be successful, or what your vision is for this?
Right, okay.
Are you on the Airbnb website, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I just sent the plat to you,
Okay.
but I use what's called Price Labs. It's a software that basically pulls all of Airbnb's statistics for the areas, that you can set like a radius on it. I was going through and found, pull up some numbers here real quick. The occupancy rates in the area are around anywhere from 60 to 70%. There's one that is directly off of Flint Road already, and it's occupied 70% of the time. And without going into like this whole analysis here, basically, I end up cash flowing at a conservative number, $2,500 a month off of it after the mortgage and everything is paid for it. We've gone through and put in amenities like this golf course. This is actually my neighbor right here. We've gone through and cleaned it all up and stuff, made it really nice and pretty, and we've added a pergola on the back of it, and It's just got really pretty scene, and it's comparable to the existing Airbnbs that are in the area, and they're doing extremely well. Price Labs says that there's actually a 20% increase in demand in the area. I think that's due to a lack of Airbnbs in the area. So that's just kind of, I've seen the opportunity, and I'd just like to capitalize on it.
So this diagram that you got up here says, location of building, parking and loading areas marked in the red, so it looks like everything will be off the road. How many vehicles does that plan to hold right there?
So currently I park 3, and 2 of them are full-size trucks.
Okay.
And then there's actually a garage on the end of there, that's a 2-car garage, so it could potentially hold up to, I would say 4 comfortably.
Okay. It says the traffic exit.
There's not a shared driveway on the property, is there?
No.
Okay, I just
No,
looked
that's
at the
the
old
near-
seller's disclosure on it, and it said it had driveway and or fence, so I'm assuming it's the fence that's
Yeah,
shared.
yeah,
Okay.
the fence is shared.
So your signs marked with the blue star, I see one blue star.
Yep.
Now, is that a sign that advertises the B&B?
Nope, that was just, I didn't know exactly what it needed for signs. It's a slow speed sign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's an
So you
Airbnb.
don't plan on having any signage?
If it's in the conditional use, I can add signage, but I hadn't.
We try to avoid signage, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't plan to, no.
Okay.
We don't want it to remain a country residential agricultural location, and we start putting signs that, takes away from that.
You know, address can be well
Obviously,
marked so
The
that
address, obviously, yeah, that kind of thing.
our guests can find it, but
And-
just no sign advertising. it.
Correct. Yeah,
So probably most of your guests, they don't really want people to know that they're there in an Airbnb from out of town or
Right.
whatever, so.
Yeah, you may not want to know it's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
For people that think, well, it's not rented, this weekend, nobody's there.
Right, yeah.
Security.
Yep, exactly. And I'm next door too, for lots of those purposes.
And you plan on managing it, cleaning it yourself? You're not gonna do the
Correct.
Airbnb management and cleaning?
Nope, we have Airbnb charges $175 for a cleaning fee to the customer, so I threw that in my revenue.
Right.
So I'll be taking care of all the cleaning and the property management.
You mentioned one of your neighbors, sir, if you talk to any of your other neighbors.
Yep, Nick Vance, he asked what I was doing, I told him, he was fine with it. My other neighbors, my mom, and then this neighbor here, Crystal.
But you're talking about the Lee and Geneva Johnsons, they're 569, so you've talked to them and they're, have no problems with it?
Actually, I've not spoken to Lee or Geneva about it. Crystal is on, she's directly behind them, so she's their daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. That's a.
What's the septic situation?
It's septic. It's been occupied. I've been using it. We cleaned it out a year and a half ago.
So how big is the house?
It is now with the closed off carport. It's roughly 1,500 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
2.
So you're asking for how many guests?
6.
Is it a manufactured home?
No, it's a brick house.
All right, Mr. Thomas, we'll let you sit down for a second, and we'll see if anybody else wants to speak. Nobody else wants to speak?
I would be curious as to your parents, and are they,
She's gonna speak. She-
Yeah.
oh, okay.
If you care if you come up and answer some questions for us, how about
You don't
that?
care if
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
You don't mind?
We just gotta get it on the record.
That's all right, just tell us your name and where you live, please.
My name's Crystal Johnson. I actually live at 571 Flint Road, which is right behind 569. So I'm Lee and Geneva Johnson's daughter. We've discussed it and talked about it. They're fine with it.
We appreciate that,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, appreciate
That's,
it.
we appreciate you very much coming in, that way it lets us know the surrounding property owners and things like that don't have a problem with it, and they understand what's going on.
They're aware, and if they had objections, they would be here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Chris.
you're welcome.
All right, Mr. Thomas. I don't think there's anybody else here, so if you wanna come back up, that way if the board has any more questions for you, if not, I'll open the floor up.
Well, in the past, haven't we had some restrictions about how late people can come and go and about noise and things like that? No parties, that type of thing?
I believe we've limited the number of guests.
Guest, yeah, we limited
To six.
to 6, and that's what he's asking for here.
Are you only gonna advertise through Airbnb?
Yes,
or
that's the plan.
The rental?
And you being
Well,
next
with your-
door to it, I imagine you can take care, but you might not always be next door to it, but,
Well, where the issues arise is whether you're having a wedding, reception, or you having all the groomsmen stay there, or have a bachelor party, or ends up turning into more people than what the
I think
6.
my opinion, on how to do that would be maybe if you're concerned about it, put a condition in there that says, if complaints are filed with the sheriff's department, at some point they'll have to be investigated or, and I don't know.
Yeah.
If it shows a pattern of complaints being filed.
It'll get back to us.
Well, I mean, if the condition is limited to 6 people and that's exceeded, then that's
If
a,
that's 6 people spending the night, or that's six
People-
people coming to Keith's party he's
yeah,
talking about. So,
yeah.
you know, I might have 6 people sleeping there, but I might have 20 coming to the party.
Mhm.
And you can limit, I think you can limit it by limiting the number of guests,
Mhm.
overnight guests, and limiting the number of cars allowed.
Mhm.
Because if you only got room to park 4 cars,
Yeah.
and 20 people are showing up, you got a problem,
Yeah.
right? So I think you can kind of control that.
Yeah, with those two.
Other restrictions.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that too. That's,
Okay.
that's fine.
And,
That's excessive wear and tear on my stuff is,
Right.
Oh,
as
yeah.
it is anyway, so.
if we have that
Yeah,
down somewhere.
she's
we'll-
right, yeah. All right, and it'll be, scheduled by appointment only, is that what you're saying?
Correct. There's a calendar through Airbnb that they'll
Okay.
register on.
Let's see here. Obtaining clearance as well as two no issues. All right, we're just going through your list here, sort of making sure we're not missing anything. Does the board have any other questions or concerns? If not, I will open the floor up for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit for the property located at 605 Flint Road. This conditional use permit will allow the operation of an Airbnb on the property, subject to the following conditions. There shall be no more than 4 vehicles, and all of them shall be parked off of the road at all times. There shall be no signs. There shall be no more than 6 overnight guests. Complaints filed due to noise, partying, and or any nuisances created by use of the property as an Airbnb can be reason for termination and revocation of the conditional use permit.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Keith Weaver,
Yes.
Mike Mavety,
Yes.
Keith Park,
Yes.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
and Ralph Hall.
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, thank you. We'll be in touch when we get the paperwork ready. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any new business, Burke?
No,
All
we're
right.
pretty good tonight.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Mike Mavety.
Yes.
Keith Park.
Yes.
Valerie Hines.
Yes.
Keith Weaver.
Yes.
and Ralph Hall.
Yes. All right, yeah, as soon as he,
Any others?
Olivia, you know, some of these, that we did, did you write on?
Did you write it?
That's,
See what time it was?
mm-hmm, perfect. I told her 6:15.
I just hope my electricity's on when I
I
get
hope
home.
so too.